What we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm your regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge.
In a world swelling with chaos, where the ground seems to shift beneath our feet, it's easy to feel lost and overwhelmed. But amidst the turmoil, there's a beacon of strength, a path to a brighter tomorrow. This year, the 5F Conference is back, bigger and better. Join us from Friday, October 4 to Sunday, October 6 for 3 days of transformative power. Experience inspiring sessions with renowned speakers like Reverend Tony Akinyemi, Reverend Hakeem Oguniro, Pastor Mrs. Ada Azeka, Pastor Wale Abayomi, and Reverend Bayo Asolo. Don't miss out on this life-changing event. Register now at 5fconference.tsfchurch.com and be part of something extraordinary.
Hello and welcome. This is Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. I'm honored to be your host today again. My name is Tony Akinyemi. We've been dealing with your food and your health, predicated on that statement made by the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates himself. He said, let your food be your medicine, and let your medicine be your food. And so we are learning about food and their medicinal properties. And this time we're looking at individual vegetables and fruits and their medicinal and health value. Okay? We have looked at 4 to date. We looked at cucumber, we looked at carrot, we looked at beetroot, and we looked at celery. Today we'll be looking at a group of vegetables, a class of vegetables that are described as cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables. There are a number of vegetables in that category. Now, for those who have attended our Rafa Institute of Healthy Living, Module 1, you would have discovered that in one of the lectures, we have a lecture that deals with classification of vegetables and classification of fruits, classification of herbs, and what have you. Those who have taken Module 1 of our class, which is available online right now at lms.rafainstitute.org, those who have taken that class won't have any problem knowing which vegetables are cruciferous vegetables. But to make it easier for those who have not and who don't know, let me just give you a list of vegetables in that category. Maybe the most popular one in this part of the world is cabbage. Cabbage that we use for coleslaw, that we use for vegetable salad, that we use for even cabbage fufu, for those who want low-calorie swallow, as we call it this part of the world. Cabbage is probably the most popular among the cruciferous vegetables. Then we have broccoli. I request our media team to please show the images of these vegetables so those who don't know them might know them. So they will show you cabbage, and then broccoli, then Brussels sprout. Brussels sprouts, that's another kind of cruciferous vegetable. Then we have cauliflower. That's another cruciferous vegetable, cauliflower. Then we have collard greens. That's another type of cruciferous vegetable. Then we have kale. Kale is also a cruciferous vegetable. Then we have horseradish. Horseradish is another cruciferous vegetable. Then we have turnip, another cruciferous vegetable. Now, these are examples of cruciferous vegetables. And all of them have wonderful, wonderful medicinal and health-giving properties. Now, cruciferous vegetables are widely considered to be healthy foods because they are high in vitamin C, they are high in soluble fiber, they contain multiple nutrients with potent anti-cancer properties in particular. Okay? There are certain phytochemicals, plant chemicals in these cruciferous vegetables that give them the capacity to fight cancer for us in the human body. They contain things like diindolylmethane. They contain things like indole-3-carbinol, otherwise known as I3C, indole-3-carbinol. They contain things like sulforaphane, okay, and the mineral selenium, which is a very potent antioxidant, by the way. Now, both diindolylmethane and sulforaphane and many other sharp-tasting substances that are present in these cruciferous vegetables are produced from substances called glucosinolates. Now, researchers at the University of California at Berkeley discovered that 3,3-diindolylmethane that is found in these brassica vegetables is a strong androgen receptor antagonist in human prostate cancer cells. Okay? Now, so because of these phytochemicals that are in these cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, collard greens, horseradish, kale, turnip, these phytochemicals present in them have been found to be strong androgen receptor antagonists in prostate cancer cells, human prostate cancer cells. Now, kale in particular is a rich source of a group of potent phytochemicals that help to prevent certain cancers as well as age-related macular degeneration. You recall in our previous, one of our previous episodes when I was talking about carrots, I was talking about it helping to protect the macula of the eyes. Now, the macula is at the back of the eyes. You know, it's like the screen on which the images you see are formed on your eyes. And when the macula begins to degenerate, it begins to affect the sharpness of a person's vision. Now, so carrot can help to protect your macula, and kale is also found to contain plant chemicals that can help to prevent not just cancers, but also ARMD, age-related macular degeneration. All right. Then broccoli, one of the cruciferous vegetables, you know, is also said to have certain, you know, important health properties. Now, the American Cancer Society suggests that cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli should be eaten several times a week to prevent cancer. That's the recommendation of the American Cancer Society. Now, the American Cancer Society states that eating broccoli several times a week, and I quote what they say, might reduce the incidence of colon, stomach, and esophageal cancers, unquote, by the American Cancer Society. Eating broccoli several times a week might reduce the incidence of colon, stomach, and esophageal cancers, cancer of the throat, all right, when somebody eats a lot of broccoli several times a week. Now, also, the American National Cancer Institute has identified a substance which is called I3C, or indole-3-carbinol, that is present in cruciferous vegetables such as cabbage. That I3C, indole-3-carbinol, actually emulsifies estrogen in women, and therefore may reduce the risk of breast cancer. And you find indole-3-carbinol in cruciferous vegetables like cabbage and what have you. And of course, you also can find indole-3-carbinol in the form of a supplement. It's available as a capsule. That is an extract from cruciferous vegetables that is now put into capsules to make it convenient for those who don't like the taste of these vegetables. But I prefer that you eat the vegetables than just buying indole 3-carbinol in capsule form, okay? Because there are other cofactors, other things present in the cruciferous vegetables that are also equally beneficial, other than just I3C. You can isolate the I3C and use it as a supplement, but when you take it and get your I3C from the cruciferous vegetables, you get many other things accompanying the indole 3-carbinol. Now, broccoli also contains minerals like potassium, like selenium, like sulfur. In fact, virtually all the cruciferous vegetables are high in sulfur, okay? And they also contain calcium. And many people will be surprised because I've heard people saying, oh, take your cow milk for calcium. Take your cow milk for calcium. Many people don't know that a cup of broccoli, for example, has as much calcium as a glass of milk. Yeah? A cup of broccoli will give you as much calcium as a glass of milk. So vegetables can also offer you calcium in your diet, particularly from cruciferous vegetables group. Now, cabbage, apart from being a good source of vitamin C, also contains an amino acid that is known as glutamine. Glutamine. And I recommend L-glutamine a lot, particularly for those who have GI issues, gastrointestinal issues, like gastritis, like peptic ulcer, duodenal ulcer, colitis, okay? I recommend a lot of L-glutamine for that because it can help in repairing the ulcerated surface of your digestive tract. And cabbage is very high in glutamine. That's why I normally also recommend cabbage juice as a form of therapy for peptic ulcer, for gastritis, okay? Cabbage juice because of the glutamine content. Now, cabbage is also rich in sulfur, by the way. It's also rich in selenium, particularly if the cabbage was grown on a mineral-rich soil. Cabbage also contains indole 3-carbinol. It contains other phytochemicals, plant chemicals, such as brasinin and ultipras. These are all different phytochemicals you will find in cabbage. Okay, now, broccoli is also one of nature's most potent superfoods. And it has almost twice as much as protein as steak. You know, when people are thinking calcium, they are thinking cow milk. When people are thinking protein, they are thinking of beef or steak or animal protein. But we have seen that vegetables can also contain these same elements, all right? Your vegetables, such as broccoli, can contain as much calcium as a glass of milk. And broccoli can also contain as much protein, almost twice, in fact, as much protein as you find in steak, okay? You find 11.2 grams of protein per 100 calories of broccoli. 11.2 grams of protein for 100 calories of broccoli. Now, broccoli is loaded with vitamins such as vitamin B1, vitamin B6, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin C, and even folate, otherwise known as folic acid. Broccoli contains them. Now, Dr. Joseph McCullough wrote a newsletter which I read in 2010. The newsletter was actually released on May 27, 2010. And Dr. Joseph McCullough said this about broccoli, and I quote, he says, "You have surely heard that broccoli is one of nature's most potent cancer-preventing foods. Several studies attest to this fact. One of the reasons that broccoli seems to work is related to a compound called sulforaphane. It selectively targets cancer stem cells, and by doing so, it effectively prevents the cancer from spreading and or recurring. Broccoli sprouts, in particular, contain the highest amounts of isothiocyanates, unquote, from Dr. Joseph McCullough." Now, so you can see how wonderful, how rich these cruciferous vegetables can be. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, you name it. Now, broccoli also has indole 3-carbinol, just like cabbage. It also has sulforaphane, which is a potent cancer-fighting substance, like I mentioned earlier. Now, sulforaphane helps about 200 of our genes, the genes in our body, in our genetic makeup. About 200 of them are supported by sulforaphane, including the gene that makes us look younger, the fountain of youth. Sulforaphane supports that gene. It also allows us to make our own antioxidants. Now, a big secret is that the antioxidants our body makes are far more powerful than the ones that we eat from food. Of course, we get a lot of antioxidants from foods that are rich in vitamins A, C, E, and the mineral selenium. All of them help us as antioxidants. But like I said in one of our previous episodes, our body also makes its own antioxidants. And those are called super antioxidants. Things like S-adenosine methionine, that's SAMe, or glutathione. The body can make them. And cruciferous vegetables will support your body to make those super antioxidants. Now, according to Dr. Joseph McCullough, again, we have to eat 10 stalks of broccoli a week to get the benefits. It's broccoli sprouts that have the highest concentration of isothiocyanates. Now, so that's why you need to get a sprouter, another device you need to have in your kitchen, a sprouter. A sprouter is a small device that you use in sprouting your seeds, to germinate your seeds, and then you eat the seed. You can eat them in your salad. You can juice them and drink. You can also add them to your sauteed vegetables, stir-fried vegetables, okay? Different ways you can use your sprouts. Now, broccoli sprouts, which you can do in your kitchen. You can sprout broccoli. You can buy the seeds, the sprouting seeds, okay? I think Havila Health Haven in Ikeja, Lagos sells those sprouting seeds. You can get the sprouting seed. They also have the sprouter, by the way, so you can sprout broccoli seeds. Now, broccoli sprouts have the highest concentration of isothiocyanates, all right? Now, those isothiocyanates are very, very important in dealing with cancer, in dealing with such things as, tumors, that may grow in the body, whether they are malignant tumors or benign tumors. Okay, so broccoli sprouts should be part and parcel of our daily menu. Now, thankfully, like I said, you can purchase a sprouter and simply sprout broccoli seeds to make your own broccoli sprouts in the comfort of your own home. And I recommend the Fresh Life Sprouter. Fresh Life Sprouter. And like I said, you can obtain both the sprouter and the sprouting seeds from Havila in Nigeria. For those who are outside Nigeria, you can check online. You'll find all of these things available. Now, the Fresh Life Sprouter is available at tribestlife.com for those of you who are in the USA or Canada, in North America. Tribestlife.com. Tribestlife, tribestlife.com. You will find your sprouter there. In Nigeria, just call Havila 0816-356-7245. That's 0816-356-7245. And you can get your sprouter. It's affordable. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. These are some of the things you need to have in your kitchen to help your family. These are upstream intervention strategies, things you are doing to prevent disease. You are being proactive. You are being preemptive. You are not waiting until, oh, there's a lump in the breast somewhere. Oh, there's ovarian cyst somewhere. Oh, there's fibroid tumor somewhere. Or they can find, oh, this cyst and this lump somewhere. And then you are looking for how to do biopsy and do histology and then begin to do all of that. You can do things now to prevent those things from showing up in the first place. Okay? This is a very convenient point to go on a short break. And when we come back, we will continue to discuss cruciferous vegetables as an aspect of our food and our health. This again is Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, brought to you by TSF, the Shepherd's Flock International Church. Our churches are in Nigeria, in the United Kingdom, in Sweden, and we have all our brethren all over the world, in the diaspora, in the United States of America, in Canada, in Australia, in South Africa, and different parts of the world. You can go to our website, www.tsfchurch.com, tsfchurch.com, and you can see our church locator to locate the address of a parish near you. Every first Sunday of the month, we dedicate time for health and healing before the main service. We call it the health and healing service. It's usually our 3-in-1 service. Every first Sunday of the month, we have a health and healing service, we have Holy Communion, and then we have the worship service. Join us at any of our parishes, and God will show up and bless you tremendously. I'll be back very shortly after this short break.
In a world swelling with chaos, where the ground seems to shift beneath our feet, it's easy to feel lost and overwhelmed. But amidst the turmoil, there's a beacon of strength, a path to a brighter tomorrow. This year, the 5F Conference is back, bigger and better. Join us from Friday, October 4 to Sunday, October 6 for 3 days of transformative power. Experience inspiring sessions with renowned speakers like Reverend Tony Akinyemi, Reverend Hakeem Oguniro, Pastor Mrs. Ada Azeka, Pastor Wale Abayomi, and Reverend Bayo Asolo. Don't miss out on this life-changing event. Register now at 5fconference.tsfchurch.com and be part of something extra.
Welcome back. This is still Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, brought to you by the Shepherd's Flock International Church, aka TSF. I invite you once again to visit the website of our church, www.tsfchurch.com. And I also invite you to visit the website of our training institute, Rafa Institute of Healthy Living, RIHL, at our website, www.lms.rafainstitute.org. Rafa is spelled R-A-P-H-A. We have online courses that will bless your life, giving you information for your health transformation. In this series on Exposé, we are dealing with your food and your health. And we're not looking at your food in terms of after the food has been cooked or prepared, like eba, amala, pounded yam, rice, jollof rice, or fried rice, or any of those things. But we're looking at individual vegetables and fruits, nuts and seeds, and what have you. Okay? Now, when we prepare our meals, quite a number of these individual vegetables and fruits can then be brought together to, constitute a recipe to prepare our meals. But we're looking at the individual benefits that each item brings to the table. We have dealt with cucumber, we have looked at carrots, we have looked at beetroots, we have looked at celery. And today we are focusing on cruciferous vegetables. And we have given examples of cruciferous vegetables. Cabbage is probably the most popular in this part of the world. We have broccoli, we have cauliflower, we have kale, we have Brussels sprouts, and what have you. Now, so we're looking at each and every one of these and the properties they have, the health benefits they bring to the table. Now, let me come back to cabbage again. I did mention that cabbage has anti-ulcer properties. When people have peptic ulcer, stomach ulcer, or duodenal ulcer, or gastritis, any of those ulcerations in their GI tract, cabbage has anti-ulcer properties. So a glass of cabbage juice, particularly when you mix cabbage juice with like carrot juice and celery juice, because cabbage juice all by itself could be a little bit pungent and the taste may not be really nice. So I advise that people should mix it with some carrot juice and maybe some celery juice. When you mix them together and you take a glass of that mixture and you take it about 5 times a day, of course it will greatly help those who are dealing with peptic ulcers, such as stomach ulcer or duodenal ulcer. It can heal within a short while, say 5 weeks, all right? Now, of course, other aspects of a holistic health plan must also be observed as well. You don't say, oh, I'm taking cabbage juice for my ulcer, and then you continue to eat things that will further aggravate the ulcer, or things that will trigger pain and attack. Now, when somebody is dealing with ulcer or any digestive tract issue, there are 2 sides to the equation. One side is to identify the things that are causing the ulcer and remove them. or things that are serving as triggers, or things that are serving as irritants to your digestive tract, things that are irritating your stomach, irritating your small intestine, your large intestine, whatever is an irritant, whatever is a trigger, whatever is an aggravator, get rid of them. And those irritants and triggers include, number 1, MSG, monosodium glutamate. Again, for those who have attended our Module 1 class at our institute, you must have learned that MSG has so many camouflage names, names that food manufacturers use to camouflage it so you won't know it is MSG. They can tell you it is textured protein or something like that, and different other names. Those are camouflage names. It's the same thing, MSG, all right, MSG. Now, you have to remove MSG because it is an irritant to the digestive tract. All those cubes that we use in our cooking our soup and our food in Nigeria in particular, I've spoken to many families, and it's as if they are addicted to this thing. They just can't take it off. How can we cook without it? Somebody asked me, and I asked the person, I said, well, what were our great-grandmothers and grandmothers cooking with before these cubes arrived? That's my answer to how shall we then cook tasty foods. Now, these cubes came into being in my lifetime. When I was young, before I was 10 years old, I never heard of any of these cubes because they were not there. It was when I was in the latter part of my primary school that I began to hear these things coming into the market in Nigeria. You know, advertisements on radio, on television, and what have you. And now they have become so much a part of our culinary life that we almost can't imagine cooking without MSG. Whereas MSG does not offer any health benefit. The only thing it offers is health compromise, disease, particularly for the GI tract and for the nervous system, because it can also trigger things like seizures, epileptic seizures. In some children that are very sensitive to it, can cause seizures. For some women, it can cause migraine headaches, and then digestive distress for many people. And yet, people keep indulging in these things. So you have to remove all of those triggers. And when you take them out, then you begin to take cabbage juice, and then the cabbage juice will now begin to exert its anti-ulcer properties to help the ulcer to heal over a 5-week period or thereabout. Okay, so one side is remove the irritants, the other side is now bring the healing remedies. Cabbage juice, for example. Now, all the cruciferous vegetables are good as part of our daily raw vegetable salad. When you eat salad, you can make your salad, you can add broccoli to your salad, you can add cauliflower to your salad, you can add cabbage to your to your salad, you know. And when you add all the various types of cruciferous vegetables, they increase the amount of glucosinolate in your system, in your body. And they add a lot of enzyme production, they boost enzyme production also in your liver. Now, these natural enzymes actually help to flush out, you know, cancer-causing agents and other toxins from our body. All these phytochemicals, these different chemicals that we find in cruciferous vegetables, like indole-3-carbinol, like sulforaphane, like glucosinolates, all of them help to, they support the liver and our detoxification system in our body to eliminate toxins and cancer-causing agents that may be inside our body. And this significantly can lower our risk of ever developing cancer. Now, coleslaw and cabbage soup are two of the many ways to eat cabbage. Of course, you can have cabbage fufu, you can have cabbage juice, you can have cabbage in your vegetable salad as well. Now, the greener the cabbage, the better. The outer leaves contain many nutrients and so should not be discarded. You can wash it thoroughly, okay, clean it very well. I will use either, you know, veggie wash, which is a biodegradable vegetable washing material, or sometimes I use MMS solution, activated MMS, to wash my vegetables. because it can kill all pathogens on the vegetable. Clean it very well before you begin to cut it and use it. Now, so don't discard, except the outermost has actually withered or yellowed, but the ones that are greener, they have very many nutrients in them. Now, when cabbage is steamed or cooked, it can lose some of its vitamins and minerals. But much of what is left is now the sulfur component. But, you know, if too much of that dead sulfur, so to speak, you know, settles in the stomach, it can cause, you know, a lot of gas, where the person has a lot of flatulence because of the high sulfur that is there. Now, some people who are sensitive to sulfur also may experience some gastric distress from cooked cabbage, but raw cabbage usually doesn't give that problem. Okay? Now, cauliflower is also a good source of phosphorus and potassium. It's also rich in sulforaphane, by the way. It also contains indole 3-carbinol as well. Some experts actually believe that when you cook cauliflower before you eat it, it can cause some kind of indigestion. Of course, it can be cooked and eaten moderately, but when you eat it raw, it is said that you get better benefits. Now, juicing is probably the best way to consume these cruciferous vegetables. They can be juiced, and then you juice carrots separately, apples separately, and you can mix the cruciferous vegetable juice along with carrot juice or apple juice to improve the taste. Now, cruciferous vegetables, especially cabbage, can potentially be goitrogenic. What do I mean by goitrogenic? Now, goitrogenic substances are substances that can affect your thyroid health. They are called goitrogens. And cruciferous vegetables are considered to be potentially goitrogenic. Now, especially cabbage. So those who have goiter, I recommend that they avoid cabbage in particular. Maybe cruciferous vegetables as a whole, but cabbage in particular. If you have goiter or you have thyroid issues, either hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism or thyroiditis or thyroid cancer or any thyroid problem, thyroid nodules, then cruciferous vegetables should be taken advisedly. If you are working with a healthcare provider who knows his or her onions, and they can guide you as to how to safely incorporate cruciferous vegetables into your diet, that's fine. But as a general rule, they are better avoided. They contain certain enzymes that are said to be able to interfere with the formation of thyroid hormones in the thyroid gland for those who have thyroid disorders. But if you don't have a thyroid disorder, this does not concern you. Cruciferous vegetables are fantastic for you to include. But then it is said also that when you cook these cruciferous vegetables for about 30 minutes before eating, it significantly reduces the amount of goitrogens and nitrites that you find in them. So they don't affect the thyroid gland anymore. So that's a way to beat around the goitrogenic effect. Now, a high intake, when you have high intake of these vegetables that are goitrogenic, it can inhibit the incorporation of iodine into the thyroid hormone, and it can also affect the transfer of iodine into milk in the mammary glands of mothers, whether humans or animals, okay? But these are little things that are not of serious consequences, all right? Generally speaking, cruciferous vegetables are healthy vegetables, wonderful vegetables, health-giving vegetables, and all of us, except those for which they are contraindicated, all of us should enjoy them, and they are good for our health. I love eating salad that has these cruciferous vegetables in them, and I eat them in different forms, either raw in my salad, or in my juice, or in my smoothie, or cooked in different ways, okay? Some will steam it with rice, some will steam it into their porridge or pottage, some will stir fry it, saute it, okay, with other vegetables, with mushrooms, with carrots, with celery, with cruciferous vegetables, you know, with broccoli, with cauliflower, because some of the beneficial phytonutrients in them are fat soluble. So when you do sauteing or stir frying with a little oil, particularly coconut oil, you find that the oil, the fat, also helps the absorption of those fat-soluble nutrients in them. This is how far we can go today on your food and your health on Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. I appreciate you for always joining me every Monday evening. And if today is your first time, we give you a special welcome on Exposé platform. And please always comment in the chat room, give us a thumbs up, and also like and also share with other people so they can be blessed. We're talking about our food and our health. Next week, God willing, on the same platform at the same time, we'll be coming with some other food items and their health benefits. Maybe we are going to be moving away from vegetables and we start moving on to seeds and nuts, and then we'll go to fruits and what have you. And maybe ultimately in another season we'll be talking about herbs and their health benefits. Thank you once again. I pray that your week is blessed. I pray that the presence of God will go with you wherever you go, and I pray that you will experience the goodness and the mercy of God all through this week. Testimonies will come your way this week. Good news will come your way this week. Open doors will be your portion this week. Divine favor will be your portion this week. Divine help will be available to you this week. God will preserve you. God will protect you. God will watch over your interests and help you to live a worthy and fruitful, well-fulfilling life, happy life in Christ. God bless you. I love you. Bye-bye.
In a world swelling with chaos, where the ground seems to shift beneath our feet, it's easy to feel lost and overwhelmed. But amidst the turmoil, there's a beacon of strength, a path to a brighter tomorrow. This year, the 5F Conference is back, bigger and better. Join us from Friday, October 4 to Sunday, October 6 for 3 days of transformative power. Experience inspiring sessions with renowned speakers like Reverend Tony Akinyemi, Reverend Hakeem Ogunira, Pastor Mrs. Ada Azeka, Pastor Wale Abayomi, and Reverend Bayo Asolo. Don't miss out on this life-changing event. Register now at 5fconference.tsfchurch.com and be part of something extra.